Good morning. I hope all of you are ready for the weekend. Today's presentation will take a few minutes, but it is about the assignment, the second major paper, and it is a book review. If you look at the subtitle, this is not your mother's book report. Please remember that a book review is evaluative, a book report is a summary, and you are not doing a summary. You are doing an evaluation of the novel Ordinary Grace. Quick preview. Writing Lab B is in the classroom. We are talking about the paper that you turned in on Monday, the paper about the Lax family feuds. Group B, you guys will be in class on Monday, and Group A, you guys will be in class on Wednesday. And then we take a couple days for Easter break. Please keep up with the reading. The basics. You're going to write a 3 to 4 page book review of Ordinary Grace. You must analyze the novel. Analysis, evaluation fall into the same category. You are not merely summarizing the plot. The due date is April 21st, 2020, 11:59 p.m. And quite frankly, your next paper will be assigned probably the next class period to give you guys time to work on all of that. Paragraph 1 should have a catchy intro sentence. That's optional. You can begin by stating the title, author, and genre in a single sentence, followed by the thesis that includes the writer's attitude toward the work. You are the writer. We're talking about your attitude toward Ordinary Grace and giving some reasons for that attitude. So, for example, Jeanette Wald's The Glass Castle is a memoir of Wald's youth and her family struggle with alcoholism, poverty, and mental illness. Although Wald's tone may seem self-serving at times, she effectively portrays her family's struggle by avoiding the sentimentality that many first-person accounts fall prey to. Her simple but elegant prose makes a strong case that it's the struggle that gives life its beauty. You notice I started with the author, the title, and the fact that it's a memoir. The sentence also contains the subject matter of the memoir, and then it goes on to talk about what's going to be evaluated. The tone, the lack of sentimentality, the prose and the styling, and the phrase, it's the struggle that gives life its beauty, is going to let me know that we're talking about the theme. That's all you need for an intro paragraph. It can be short, sweet, and to the point. I've talked in class about how intro paragraphs can be a funnel where you have a broad intro sentence where the writer leads the reader by the hand to the thesis. Either way works. But just make sure that you have the key elements. Remember, we've talked about character, conflict, connection, and theme. We've also talked about things like plot, but the plot is driven by conflict, so you're dealing with conflict there. Remember that characterization is how does the author make the readers care about the character? How does the setting, we talked about that a lot in the background presentation, how does 1961 in Minnesota affect that? We talked about accuracy, little things like howdy doody, and we'll talk about that more. What are you going to talk about? There's also point of view, there's tone and diction. We talk about the idea of the older man telling the story of his youth. Is that effective or not effective? And then please remember, if you're going to talk about theme, it's a general observation about the human condition. It should take into consideration the entire novel, what happens to the good guys, what happens to the bad guys. Are there good guys or are there bad guys? It should take into account how grace is worked through the novel, how many layers of grace are in the novel. It should be a complete sentence, not a single word or a short phrase, and it should not be a cliche. Look, you can summarize the novel's plot, but work to retell only the important details. Don't give away the conclusion. And this is the key point. The summary should be no longer than 30% of the review. That means if the summary is 3 paragraphs, the evaluation and conclusion should be 6 paragraphs. Please understand that the summary is the shortest part of the review, not the longest part. And I'm fine with the summary being only 20% of the review. But you're not writing a book report that summarizes, you're writing a review that analyzes. I don't know how many times I've said that so far today, but please, honest to God, please remember that. The evaluative paragraphs are, what are we going to evaluate? Tone, diction, theme, point of view. What's the good, the great, the bad, and the ugly about the novel? You can even organize it that way. That's fine with me. Find some organizing method. Evaluate the novel. This is the longest part. This is up to 2/3 of the novel, or 2/3 of the paper, excuse me. And then you got a concluding paragraph that restates the thesis. It sums up with reasoning for the evaluation. Finally, look, don't plagiarize. Dr. Sullivan and I both teach this book. We've talked several times about papers that seem odd to us, and several times those papers have been carbon copies of the other. Also, if I want to know what other reviewers on the internet think, I am fully capable of finding them. This is your review. This is your opinion. You've got until April 21st. I'm giving you over a month to read the book, listen to me in class, and write the review. Don't plagiarize. Don't steal words. Don't steal ideas. Finally, daily writing is real simple. In the comments, write a sentence that'll convince me that you've watched the entire video. Asserting I have watched the entire video is not convincing. Do something else to convince me that you've watched the entire video. Have a good weekend, and we will see about half of you on Monday.